Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, beautiful souls. I am Alicia Barney Matahari, and today we're doing another pick a card reading. And today we're going to look at your energy, your aura. So what's cooking in your space that is of you? So we've got 3 piles today. Pile number 1 is this beautiful beaded collar. Let me just show you. And this was made, it was given to me, it was gifted to me from somebody that was very important to me, who is no longer with us. And she was gifted that by a student of hers who made that for her. So it is a very special. And pile number 2, we have got this lovely Claddagh chain, and it's from Glencara, and Glencara means forest and friend, and it's that beautiful heart held by 2 hands with a crown on top. So that's pile number 2, and pile number 3 is this beautiful armband, beaded armband that I gifted myself. I was traveling and I was at a market in Kenya, and I bought that for myself because I thought it was beautiful. So take a moment to check which pile is for you, and I am going to get into pile number 1. And I'll pop this over here so that we know it's pile number 1, and we'll just put a 1 there. So to start us off, we're going to start with the nakshatra cards. So we've got card number 11, Purva Falguni. The former red one, the Star of Fortune. Beautiful cards. Pile number 2, I've got this soul card, which is echoing the orange and the fire. And the green, actually, very, very complementary colors here. From the Animal Medicine deck, we have got card number 9, which is Butterfly Medicine. We have, from the Fairy Oracle, Lashta Moon's Daughter. Moon's Daughter. I don't know if I'm butchering that, but that's how I'm saying it. And from the For Love of Dragons Oracle, we've got more fire, more orange. The Fire Bearer. And I'm noticing some synchronicities with the numbers, actually. And then this is from another deck. I think it's called a Vibrations deck. We've got Clean Sweep. And we've got the green echoing here again. So straight away, there's some really powerful energy coming off of this. I am going to say that you guys are my sensual pile. I'm getting really, even though it hasn't shown up, I'm getting also kind of strong Barney energy from you. And obviously I relate to that quite strongly with my own moniker is Barney Matahari 44. So Purva Falguni, the deity is Bhaga. And you can see that it's entirely in Leo. So that is sun energy, but I'm getting very strong Venusian energy from that as well. And the planet for Purva Falguni, I believe, is, and feel free to correct me in the comments if I have mistaken this, Venus in Leo. And we've got the 11, which again is reminding me of, that's the number of, I'm seeing the 4 of Wands in my head, like the two, like the twin flames. And the symbol of the Purva Falguni is the 2 front legs of the marriage bed. So the counterpart to that would be obviously the 2 back legs of the marriage bed. The other symbol of it is the Shiva Lingam. So that again is bringing through both the, for me, Venus and Leo, both very creative, divine feminine and divine masculine energies. And this is echoed for me also in the green around here, and also a ring of the orange here in the soul card. And you even see throughout this person's body, throughout this figure's body, you've got the oranges, red, orange, and also kind of blue green, which is signifying to me both not only the sacral and the heart chakras with through the green and the orange, but also through the blues and the reds. It's also signifying to me the throat chakra, which is, you know, intuition and truth, and a lot of other things, but also depth and emotion. And emotions are in the water chakra, which is the sacral chakra. And then the heart energy, and that's a feminine chakra, as you know, probably, if you're on this channel, likely. And the heart chakra then would be the air chakra, but that's also, it's a masculine element, air. So the god of love, Bhaga, that's signifying, you know, the distinction, I guess, between, for me, lust and love. It's coming from a loving place. So it's places that are associated with this nakshatra are fireplace, bedrooms, pleasures and holidays, that kind of thing. So I really feel like you're you're my sensual pile. So how you probably are very strong in feeling things through your body. You're likely clairsentient. You probably feel other people's energy. You probably understand things through your body. I know I'm a dancer, and when I dance, the way I feel things and the way I can understand things is sometimes through dance. And I don't really have the words to explain that, but if you know, you know. Maybe they'll come to me at another time. I'm not sure, but I'll keep going anyway. So also with the Shiva Lingam and the sacral chakra, that's the chakra of, you know, creativity and creation. And Leo, of course, rules over the theater. It's a very creative sign. This is a highly creative nakshatra. And in order to like bring your, so the two lower chakras, like the root chakra and the sacral chakra, are feminine chakras. And Mother Gaia is, you know, kind of a feminine energy. However, in order to bring it to life and ground it, not only do you need to have the, you know, the inception, the creative spark, the cooking it up when we're talking about your aura. And then you think of the law of gestation. You know, a baby is conceived. It takes the man and the woman to conceive the baby, but then it gestates in the womb for 9 months. So there's that kind of incubation period before it breaks ground and can be brought forth into the world. So you have a really beautiful integration of the dance of the masculine and feminine energies, and you radiate that. People, like with the fire in the fireplace, people feel comforted. People feel safe around you. And I'm thinking of the campfires through, you know, back through history and through a lot of like tribal cultures. And even, you know, back when the fireside stories, you know, in the Depression, that kind of thing. So associated around the fire is warmth. And of course, the sun is the, you know, in the sun, things grow in the sun. And that would be, again, a masculine energy. So both are needed. And that integration and that wholeness within us is necessary. We are out of balance when we haven't integrated and balanced and embodied those energies and to create from that place, a place of harmony, a place of balance. And that's what you're working on, and you're doing it very beautifully. And I think that you probably express that in your life, no matter what you do. For example, in your career, for example, maybe it shows up in your hobbies, maybe it shows up in your family, because Leo also rules over, leadership and children, and father signifies the sun signifies father, and then you have day and night because the moon would signify mother. And then that takes me to Lost Moon's daughter. So look at her. She is so, I might actually need to cover her a little bit. She is the light, and she's got hoof prints. So again, that's reminding me of Mother Gaia. And I'm hearing that song, I quote it all the time, like from Pocahontas. I know you think you own the land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and river has a life, has a spirit, has a name. So you have this integrated approach to how you show up in the world and everything you do, how you show up in a relationship, how you talk to yourself, how you create things in the world, how you take information in, because energy is two ways. You're expressing, but you're also taking energy in, and you feel things not only through your body, but also through your mind, through your experiences, through your emotions. And I feel like you're really, really good at new beginnings and transformation. And that brings me over to butterfly medicine. So butterfly medicine is it's reminding me of, again, we've got duality, and I'm noticing as well here that we have card number 19 in the fire bearer, and we have card number 38, and that's two 19s are 38, and then you have the 11. So I feel like if you're not in a divine connection, that is on the table for you if you want to. But ultimately, like, my perspective on it is that I don't resonate with the kind of twin flame narrative so much, as I believe that our twin flame is ourselves, our divine, our higher self, our divine self, and us being able to download that down through living our life, we connect with that. And I believe that that is kind of the journey of life, and that when we connect with that in ourselves, that's when we can meet our life partner, our purpose, or we meet our soul family, for instance. And that requires healing. If you come from, let's say, a traumatic background. And when I say a traumatic background, I was listening to someone saying that generational trauma, the way it kind of plays out is that it gets amplified down through the generations. So if you have two parents, for example, who came from traumatic, who had traumatized parents also, like, for example, maybe there was addiction in the house, there was alcoholism, maybe there was gambling, but it doesn't have to be an ism like that. It could be somebody who's just like emotionally unavailable and completely just, all they do is work, and they're not integrated in this way, with their divine masculine and their divine feminine, and they haven't mastered that. The children very often, I think it was Gabor Mate was saying that it's even worse if you're neglected than if you're treated badly. And they've done, the research and how that plays out and how that really affects your nervous system, because we're a soul, we're also a mind, but we're also in an animal body. So there's a consensus that's required in order for us to move forward and I'm seeing the Chariot now. Again, the dark and the light, the duality, when that's harmonized, when there's balance, then we move forward with the divine, and we move forward from that divine place. And also, there's this, I'm hearing the word toxic positivity as well. So there's this, in my opinion, in the can be in the spiritual community and in the life coach community and in all the manifestation kind of community, where there's this kind of just think positive. Yes, think positive, but also think truth as well. And that has to, there is a physical component to that as well. Have you ever seen those that old phrase that sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me? But there's a Japanese guy who used to do experiments, and he would look at water crystals, and he would send water crystals, he would send them different words, and he would send words like war and hate and disgust and dark, shameful words that will be harsh to receive, unloving words, I'm going to say, undivine. Well, everything is divine, but like away from the light. Logos would be towards, the dude downstairs, metaphorically speaking. And words like love and light and high vibrational versus low vibrational, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But when he would send the water crystals high vibrational words, the patterns would be just beautiful in the water crystals. And then when he would send them low vibrational words, they would have this really kind of shattered, horrible, I don't know if horrible is the word, but not the beauty that you would see when he sent them the beautiful words. And it's interesting because we're talking about water, and water is the sacral chakra. And here we've got clean sweep. So you see again this light, and this is you. That's like a sun. It's that divine light. You're radiating that out. And then you see this reflection here. And reflection, the moon reflects the sun. The moon is mother. The moon is the divine feminine. The moon lights the path in the night. And that's what Lashta's moon's daughter does. Her hoof prints, they show the path to a gateway. And you are very good at listening to your guides and listening to spirit. And you follow your intuition. The moon is also highly psychic, depth, emotions, intuition. It's the balance of both. So one without the other is imbalanced. It can never be whole. And not only does it have to have both, but they have to be integrated, and they have to know how to play with each other. So I think that Tantra could be something that you could be really drawn to. And the themes coming out in Purva Falguni would really suggest that to me. And butterfly medicine is about knowing about the cycles of life, the never-ending cycle, from the egg to the larva, the cocoon, birth. And then the cycle starts over again. Nature does it all the time really, really, really well. And Lashta's moon's daughter is kind of giving me, there's a fun and a lightness to her. And look at how bright she is. So you've got these oracle cards are really echoing each other. And we haven't even talked about the fire bearer. And fire, of course, also signifies spiritual energy. And it's interesting. I picked the, jewelry in this whole reading for the different, for two of the piles, no, for three of the piles. And that for me, what I love about, let's say, for example, kind of the more ancient, as we're leaving the age of Pisces, which is, we're going into the age of Aquarius, Pisces comes after Aquarius, but in a zodiac sense, we're going backwards through ages. And there's a thing where counter-wise is the unwinding of karma as well. So there's a paradox here of like going forward is kind of going backwards, but they're the same thing because time doesn't exist. And it's just a linear thing that our human minds have had to come up with because we exist in 3D and it's very, very dense. But spirituality is timeless. And butterfly medicine reminds me, transformation is very significant of Kali, which is also, she's the divine mother, but she is destruction. But destruction, she destroys attachments, she destroys karma. And she is nighttime. She is the goddess of time, and she is she is the goddess of she's the goddess of time and space, but darkness as well, the void. So it's just all of these, the interplay of all of these things that are happening. And you're really, really good at behind, like internally and in your aura and probably in your thought process and how you show up in the world. And I think you've had many, many lifetimes. I've got a real old soul coming from you. And then the clean sweep is echoing that. I'm seeing just in this, it's reminding me of a palate cleanser. So I think in the bedroom, which also, Schmex is ruled by death. And they call that, the O, they call that the little death. And in that Schmexuality, you're surrendering. And again, back to Tantra, is the culmination of the I guess the climax is a devotion, is an offering to the divine. So it's very, very interesting. I think that if you have not explored, kind of some of the principles of Tantra, it could be something that really you might be drawn to if you look into it. And Yoga Nidra as well is so interesting to me, because Yoga Nidra is not, they call it kind of dynamic sleep, and Yoga Nidra it's the foundation of it's the foundation of Tantra, but also it is, when we talk about rest, like we have that Netflix and chill, or we go on vacation, but like we might drink loads of alcohol and party and blah blah blah, but meditation and true meditation and true rest is actually the withdrawal of stimulus, and it's really coming back. And I'm seeing that I think it's David Letterman has a documentary, which I haven't seen, by the way, but I've seen on YouTube I guess the clickbait, but it's called becoming nobody, I think. And then Dr. Joe talks about that as well. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's like, become nobody, becoming nothing, becoming no time, and then you can become everything. And then we're back once again to the void, and in the void, that is the blackness. Without the darkness, we cannot see the stars. And then I'm hearing that phrase, spiritual adepts like the dark, because in the dark they can see their own light. So it's that withdrawal of stimulus so that you can know your own energy. And I think that that's a journey that you've been on. You're very adept at transformation, and in order to create something new, there needs to be space made for that. The clean sweep is giving me kind of the higher vibrational, higher frequency aspect. And I'm thinking of palate cleanser as well. So, in a very rich meal, they will often serve sorbet as a palate cleanser to to cleanse the palate. But also, if you go on a detox and you give up, processed foods, and you go natural, your taste buds, or you give up alcohol, you give up smoking, for example, you can taste the actual food, and then you can also taste the lack of food. I remember having strawberries, from the supermarket one time, and I was just like, this doesn't even taste like a strawberry. And then being in Europe and having a strawberry in Turkey, and oh my goodness, it tasted like a completely different substance. And they have different laws in Europe around GMO and all that kind of stuff. So I think that you're that for people. You have got this rich inner world. You have got this, I feel like you're really, really good at smelling the roses, and you enjoy it. Like you suck the marrow out of life for yourself. I think that you probably have a very beautiful, very playful, very fun inner child, but I'm also getting huge intelligence from you as well. And we're still back to the fire bearer pile number 1. And I should leave that out so people know. And we're still on your oracle cards. We haven't even pulled any tarot for you. And we've got this dude in the, or I'm saying dude, but this figure in a cocoon. And I feel like that with transform, you may have had to learn how to protect this energy. So the fire bearer talks about fire is something that's really a strong element for you right now. And of course you have Purva Falguni, which is it's the star of fortune, and your fortune comes from, you know, enjoyment and being that, but also protecting it and not casting your pearls before swine, as they say. But the fire exists on a gradient. Like you have that you know, the spark of a creative idea to like a blazes of anger, for example. Or you might have you know, that kind of slow flow of lava. I'm getting Tafiti now again, because remember when her heart was stolen by Maui? Like she was angry, but when he returned it to her, she came back into her integrated motherly, and things flourished, and it was beautiful. I'm also hearing white tiger, and Kali rides either on a tiger or rides on a tiger or a lion, and that is to signify the burning of attachments. And I also mention this a lot on my channel as well. The large redwoods of the sequoia trees, they actually require, in order for them to be able to reproduce in nature, they require a forest fire. So you have very, very powerful energy, pile number one. And I'm getting that you probably had to learn how to put in barriers, how to boss up, how to wield that power in a way that not only serves you, but serves spirit. And I can see that you're on the path and you're doing that. That's what these cards are telling me. And that is what I feel. Like my voice is strong and grounded. There's a gravitas about you, pile number one. It is beautiful to be around. You probably didn't realize or recognize this from a long time. And you may have been in relationships where you thought you were getting, you're the kind of person I feel like that was probably gaslit a lot and probably blamed for a lot. You probably might have been even parentified and leaned on very heavily by adults who should have known better. Because of this power that you have, I'm getting this image of like a kind of a baby boss, or like a superhero who's a child who doesn't understand the powers that they have. And maybe they even tried to, you know, kind of bind you in some kind of way, or bind your powers in some kind of way, but through gaslighting, through not telling you the truth about who you are. So that's what I'm getting for you from all of these cards, pile number one. So let's just pull some tarot for you. So also pile number one, I'm feeling very strongly. So we've got the Knight of Wands, which is that kind of in and out energy, but it's also fast energy, but it depends on how it's aspected, to be honest. So I feel like it's a fast moving energy. You're moving fast you're moving fast. Now that you're at this integrated place, you're moving fast. The other thing about butterfly medicine that strikes out for me is that, you know, that story of the person who helps the butterfly get out of the cocoon. We've also got the page of swords. And when the person helped the butterfly get out of the cocoon, the butterfly couldn't survive. So the struggle is the strength. So you have this beautiful mastery of duality, of, you know, the strength and the delicacy. You are a delicacy. It's reminding me of flowers as well. And at night, the flowers know to close in and protect them, and then they come out in the sun. So your energy, your aura is very, it's an intelligence unto itself. And it probably took you've got the King of Swords, which doesn't surprise me at all, because that's about discernment. And again, that is the heart chakra. So you probably had to learn how to protect your heart. The King of, and you're highly intelligent. So you were probably an intelligent child as the Page of Swords, and you had to learn how to be discerning to who to be around, who to give to, where to spend your time, your energy. And of course, the fire element, in order to alchemize. So you may have been through a lot of trauma yourself. It's entirely possible. I'm getting hermit energy from this. You may have had to go into your own cocoon to heal from things that were projected upon you by others. And you chose this. We've got the Six of Wands, which is a card of success. So you're successful. You've really grown up. If you're still bubbling in the cauldron and, you know, life has not, your garden is not at a mature stage yet, for want of a better metaphor. And now another line from Pocahontas, that song, how high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, you'll never know. Five of Pentacles. So I feel like you were left out in the cold a lot, and it's Aquarius in Aquarius energy, and it might be because you were unique and you did things, you know, kind of your own way. But you have to know how to know thyself. I mean, that's a tenet of, you know, every philosophy ever. I think you were probably considered precocious as a child, and possibly went even through a stage of kind of being perceived as being a know-it-all, because you are that, like, you get things fast, you pick things up fast, you're very intelligent, and it probably pissed a bunch of people off. We have also got the Queen of Swords here, so we've got divine counterparts here. So King is mastery, Queen is healer, and so again we've got that twin flame. So you've brought into, you know, you've gone from a page to a king, but you've also embodied the healing energy. So people around you feel safe. They feel healing. They feel your knowledge really helps them. And then we've got the Nine of Wands. So you have learned through your discernment to put down other people's burdens, because you have realized that you are only one human being. You have incarnated in this life to lead the way for some, to show them that they too can put down burdens, and that they should not be burdening other people with their stuff. Everybody has to do their own work. Everybody has to alchemize their own emotions. You can't think other people's thoughts for them. You can't feel other people's feelings for them. And you can't do their push-ups for them. You cannot. And I was listening to a reader today, actually, who was talking about like how she would be encouraging of people to really work out their bodies. And that for me, you know how they say that therapy is for the people to deal with the people who won't go to therapy. And I'm seeing this heart actually is upside down. I'm going to turn it the right way around. That is, that's interesting to me. So you might have had people that were kind of, again, gaslighting you when you put in boundaries, telling you that you're selfish, telling you that, you know, they're strong, that you're strong and they're weak, therefore. Well, no, we're all humans. We're all adults. We all have things to work on. I might be strong in one area and you might be strong in another, but I have to build up my, you know, my things that I need to work on, as do you. I have over the years really come to the conclusion that people who don't work out their bodies also, I don't want to call it selfish, but I feel like that's also a responsibility of the journey of life. And we have that, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, again, I'm back to him. He's really good at kind of linking the science with the emotional, with the manifestation. So the mystical and the science. He's a really, really good bridge. And another, it's reminding me of something else. So I did my yoga teacher training at an ashram. And what I noticed was they would bring guest speakers in all of the time. And we had a lot of swamis. And I noticed that being around the swamis, their energy was very pure. It was almost childlike in their, not childlike, that's the wrong word. It was pure. It was innocent in that, like, you could tell that they weren't carrying hate. And it wasn't that they were just thinking good thoughts all the time. It was just that it takes temperance. In order to temperamental, in order to be able to in order to be able to temper metal, you need very, very high degrees of heat. And without tempering the emotions, people have a temperamental temperament. To get to that stage, you have to alchemize a lot. And I noticed that a lot of the swamis used to be doctors, used to be scientists, used to be insert word here. And it occurred to me later on that, and I asked one of them why, I was like, why did you come to, why did you become a swami? And it was a natural journey for them. I was like, why the draw to spirituality after the science? And they were like, that phrase is coming to mind, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. They were like, our human mind is limited. We can only, it's limited. We can't go beyond, our minds can only conceptualize things so much. There's so much more, the higher mind. And now I'm thinking of like the throat chakra. And the throat chakra is the first of the ether chakras. It relates to intuition. It relates to confidence. It relates to, it's the gateway to beyond. It's the gateway between the earthly plane and the other dimensions. And of course, it's blue and it signifies truth as well. So the body, and I'm thinking north node, south node as well now. Some in the kind of, I guess, esoteric community, there's a lot of talk about my north node, my destiny, my purpose. But, your south node is your foundation. If you don't have a good foundation and you don't tend to your foundation, what you build cannot stand effectively or well. What else? Pile number 1. Your energy is just beautiful. So another song that I'm getting for you is, it requires heat to alchemize. So, and again, that's echoing the struggle. So in what I was going to say is that a lot of the toxic positivity is that it's just look at positive things. Yes, focus on positive things because what you focus on amplifies. However, you do need to deal with toxicity. You do need to look at the truth of what is. Like, let's say you broke your leg. Like, if you didn't tend to that break or that fracture, or you got an infection, if you didn't tend to that, it would amplify. So you can't just ignore it. You have to deal with it and then move on. So again, we're back to, you are very good, pile number 1, at new beginnings. And that's at the beginner's mind. And that was one of the things that actually really drew me to yoga, was the beginner's mind. That whole thing. I'm seeing with the fire as well, wicked white hot. And that's reminding me of white tiger as well, back to Kali. So there's a lot of interplay here. You're an absolutely guiding light for people. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't had a Kundalini awakening yet, that you are on the path to it, or you maybe have had several. I remember one experience. I was in a room with a lot of, it was kind of a spiritual workshop, I want to say, and we were in ceremony at the time, so there was a lot of energy being focused on spirit, and literally, I kid you not, my whole body started vibrating, and I started getting all of these, kind of visions and thoughts, but literally I could feel my whole like the cells in my, like felt like the cells in my body were vibrating. My legs were shaking. When your body goes into tremor, it felt my whole body was tremoring, and literally my teeth were chattering. And this was a ceremony that went on for a couple of hours. And at one stage I got up to go to the bathroom, and my whole entire body was shaking so much. And before I had kind of gotten into, and I've only been into, I did my yoga teacher training 11 years ago, 11 here. But I didn't really get into tarot and channeling and esoteric and all that kind of like down the astrology and all that kind of stuff until probably about 5-6 years ago. So I've been deep into it since, and it really resonates with me. I am obviously I feel things through my body, but before that I was like, well, when am I going to have my experience? That was such a powerful experience for me, but I feel things coming up through my body, and I feel like that you might have that as well, pile number one. But once I kind of had those really deep experience, it helped me. Since then, I've definitely noticed the more subtler energies as well. Like, I used to be someone who, like, if I went for a massage, I wanted them to really dig in. But now I really love the light touch as well. I like the, get in there. I love shiatsu massage on my body. I like the feel of that. But I also like the really, the light feather touch as well. And just having that awareness. And again, through being away from other people. I went through a really big hermit stage myself. And I lived in the woods for a year. And where I lived, there is a giant quartz crystal vein. I think it's the second largest in the world. So you can just imagine that the energy, because if you think about it, in terms of like powerful energy, people who to me, I always laugh when people are like, oh, astrology, whatever, and the planets and blah, 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 and I'm a blah, blah, blah. Like, this stuff has been around for like eons, so it for me, the moon controls the tides. Look at the size of the moon compared to the other planets. We are like 70 something percent water or something in our bodies. Do not tell me that the moon doesn't affect us. It sure as shooks does, in my opinion. And if you look at police reports and emergency rooms, like, their numbers go skyrocket. And anybody who is out of alignment or is highly sensitive would really feel those energies at certain times. And actually, when I'm filming this, we've just entered March of 2025. And there's two eclipses this month. There's a lunar eclipse mid-month, and then there's a solar eclipse at the end of this month. So I'm interested to see what's happening. There are such crazy, like, big things happening in the world at the moment. It's fascinating to me. The other thing that I want to say about this, you're definitely, I'm getting very strong divine feminine from you, but I also feel like you have a very, very strong connection to your inner child. and your inner child grown up, you've really learned how to like reparent your inner child and allow that creative play to kind of come out in your being. I'm getting smoldering energy from you. I'm getting the song Skin by Rihanna for you. I'm also getting your whole life is art. I'm getting Tapestry by Carole King. Beautiful lyrics in that song. And Skin by Rihanna is just it's it's a song for it's a song for your, I guess, let's say Valentine's Day, or your honeymoon playlist, or your every day is a honeymoon with you, pile number one. I feel like when you are safe with somebody in the bedroom and you're having that connection for them, you are like this palate cleanser. You are just this infusion of just purity and just this gorgeous energy. I wouldn't be surprised if people, my candle has just gone out. I wouldn't be surprised if, you don't know how like energized people get by doing the thing with you. And I am going to leave it there because I have been talking forever. So pile number 1, your energy is just so incredibly beautiful. Thank you for everything you are and everything you do in the world. If you like my content and you have not subscribed, I would be really grateful if you decided that was something that you would like to do. And if not, maybe I'll see you again at another reading. If you're new to my channel, hi. If you're a returning person, hi, and thank you for stopping by, and welcome to all of you. With that, I'm going to let you go. Pile number 1, thank you so much. I think you're just, you're the bee's knees in the cat's pajamas, as they say. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I'm moving on to pile number 2. Okay, pile number 2. You had this lovely clada, and it's a chain. So it's the pendant from Glencara. We're just going to put that over there, and we're going to put the 2 up here so people know that it's pile number 2. So let's see what we've got for you, pile number 2. So first on the board, we've got Danishta. Danishta, the most I'm not even going to try and say it anymore. Oh my goodness. The power to give, benefic. The power to give abundance and fame. Pile number 2. And pile number 2, if you like my content, please do feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll get on with your reading. You've got this beautiful soul card, which is really mirroring the colors of this. It's so gorgeous. You have got penguin spirit. This is animal medicine deck. And as you can see, you mightn't be able to see. So this deck comes with some blank cards, and the invitation is an animal that's not in the deck that really speaks to you, you may add. Well, of course you may add, but I chose to add penguin because penguins are quite significant for me and I absolutely love them. Ooh, we've got more of this lilac with the spiral. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Himself. This is from the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Love this deck. Beautiful. And Pleasure Dome. Oh, and we've got a lot of lilac, but we've got the whole rainbow going on here. And this to me, it looks like a child's marble. It also looks like an eyeball. And look at how they're just, jumping for joy in there. Pleasure Dome. I love this for you, pile number 2. Okay, I'm going to put it down there so that we can see more of this. So let's talk about Dhanishta. So it is the star of symphony, and we've got fiery and movable. I'm getting for you, I'm really drawn to the colors. The silver, the lilac, and I'm seeing him, himself, card number 17, and I'm seeing I'm hearing the songs as well, so that's interesting to me. And she is holding up this bowl, and it's a she, given the chest area for sure, and he's got light at the heart, third eye, and crown chakra. So the crown chakra and the third eye, and then grounding. I mean, look at him. He's green. The heart chakra. It's slightly above from the heart chakra. For me, that's between the heart and the throat chakra, which is that is actually what I'm getting for that is kind of the Kundalini energy, and I'm actually getting it being pulled down into the earth, which is interesting. And then she's beneath the tree, and you know how underneath the tree, the roots, a lot of the tree roots are connected. And we had Glenkara. Glenkara means forest friend, basically. Interesting. Celtic mythology might be something that you're interested in or might be drawn to. And of course, Ireland used to be completely, as I believe was Manhattan, covered in trees, and now it's not because they cut them all down. So Dhanishta, that's Capricorn into Aquarius energy. That's Mars in Capricorn. It's the planet Mars. It's Mars in Capricorn and Mars in Aquarius energy. So I'm getting divine, like the leading with divine masculine, but also a real acknowledgement of the divine feminine is feminine energy. So I'm getting that maybe your sign or your work or how you were raised, like you're very, like maybe you lead with the masculine energy, and inside you're lovely and gooey. I'm thinking of like Cancer energy, because it's got the hard shell, and inside it's delicious and ooey gooey, and it moves sideways, but it's got those pincers as well. So the shell is protective. And then of course the clam, you've got that, or the oyster, you've got the pearl, but on the outside, you've got this hard shell. So you might have a hard shell. You might have needed to have a hard shell. I'm also noticing that inside this, and we talked about it being a marble. So maybe and I'm hearing that song by Paul Simon, The Boy in the Bubble. And best concert one of the best concerts I ever saw, to be honest. Not the best, but it was amazing. I saw it in Madison Square Garden. It was Sting and Paul Simon with Paul Simon's band. Whew, absolutely amazing. But I'm getting a real crisp, clear feeling from your energy. Air energy, clarity. But I'm seeing music, dance, flame, and you've got these two women dancing. The symbols are the flute, and it's reminding me of heart and truth. And of course, we've got the female energy here as well. So I don't know if you are in relationship with somebody else, but if you want to be, I feel like that's on offer for you for sure. I'm getting a really unique vibe from you as well. Penguin, you march to the beat of your own drum, I would say, pile number 2. And you may have been, so with the hard shell energy, you may have had to develop a hard shell because I'm getting incredible power, and the power the power to give abundance and fame, the most beneficent one. Okay, so being around you is beneficial to others. So people may have tried to have fed off of your energy. So you may have attracted a lot of what do you call them, parasitic type people. I'm getting narcissist, empath vibes, you being the empath. So you may have had to develop that hard shell, and that may have led you into the forest, into the metaphorical forest, into the to go within. That may have led you up the mountain. Capricorn is the goat, and the goats, if you've ever seen them, I mean, they can climb up really steep, really steep terrain, and they also the Capricorn is also the bridge between heaven and earth. And again, we were talking about that, is that's between, for me, the throat chakra is the gateway into the next off 3D to, the dimensions that we don't see. And as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, our physiology is changing, our gifts are awakening higher, people are becoming I think crystals would be really beneficial. I think you are like a crystal, actually. I feel like that, at certain times, we're coming into eclipse season now in March 2025, but these readings are timeless. And that energy is always there. But I feel like that, through this, the neutrinos that are pounding down from the sun, like they're switching on and amplifying your gifts. And in this, I'm seeing this being held up. She is just like, it's the, oh, interesting. Aquarius is the water bearer. So she is collecting these downloads, and her crown chakra is also on fire as well. And of course, the lilac is a very spiritual color, the purple. And I'm seeing Saint Germain, Archangel Metatron. And Archangel Metatron is the only archangel that actually had an incarnation on earth. The other angels, like the Elohim, they are of a different, they're of their angelic realm. And, when you call on Archangel Michael and you call on Archangel Gabriel for the truth, you're going to get it. They're going to give it to you. But they're not warm and fuzzy. They're not cherubs. They're warriors. They have to be. And I'm seeing the lion and the lamb as well. I really feel like whether you're in however you identify, the masculine energy is very well developed, and you might have had to learn how to cultivate the feminine energy, because that might have been suppressed in you. It might have been dismissed in you. It might have been considered frivolous, or kind of like, in Jane Austen novels, the women have to be agreeable, but the men could be I guess unemotional and the whole age of Pisces just totally separated, like the masculine and feminine energies, a total misunderstanding. And it's reminding me of the ancient the more ancient faiths, I want to say. So if you think of the Hindu pantheon and the Egyptian pantheon, for example, you do not have to go looking for the divine feminine. She is right there. In fact, in the Indian pantheon, Durga is the demon slayer. Durga was formed by Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva coming together and saying, we can't vanquish this demon. They combined their energies. They created Durga, and Durga is the one who slayed the energy. So masculine energy has its place and feminine energy has its place. And then it said that Kali, one of the there's variations of lots of these stories in the Vedas, but Kali, in one of them, Kali is said to have come from the forehead of Durga, and Durga rides on a tiger or a lion, and and she has 8 arms, each holding a tool or a weapon. She is fiercely, she's the protective mother. So I'm getting that maybe the feminine energy was not honored. And I'm thinking of the Catholic Church as well. A few years ago, they turned around and was like, oh yeah, we lied about Mary Magdalene, by the way. And that is an amazing movie, in my opinion. The one with Joaquin Phoenix and his partner, Rooney Mara. Beautifully done. I mean, personally, I thought it was beautiful. But at the end, I remember, and I grew up in Ireland. I grew up Catholic. And, there was a lot of, by the separation of women and men and the way they treat women as subservient to men, a woman can't be pope. A woman can't be a priest. A woman is married to God. But men, I mean, how many men in the Catholic Church, so we have confirmation in Ireland, and our own bishop, when I was coming up to, like, just a few years before I got made my confirmation, which you make when you're aged, usually around, kind of the last year in elementary school. We call it primary school in Ireland. But just a couple of years, there was a huge scandal that the bishop where I grew up had a child with somebody, and it all came out. And that was there was a lot of stories about priests, the things that they did and all that. And that was I guess that was kind of a lack of understanding of the masculine and feminine energies and how to honor that in religion, I guess. I feel more spiritual than religious, and I definitely think that they're all saying the same thing, but they're saying it in different ways. And I used to think about it being, I still do. I actually think that religion is more like a language. Like, I speak Catholic and you speak, you speak Orthodox Jew, for example. And I think we're all talking about the same stuff, but it's a man who comes along, and human mind with our limitations, who comes along and interprets the language. And we're limited, and we're fallible, and we're talking about infallible, immutable, divine concepts that we don't really understand. So we need to go beyond our human mind, our human body, and allow our intuition to be part of the picture. Anyway, I've been off topic. This is also reminding me of, do you ever, I used to feel like this. I used to feel I found it like I would understand people, but they never understood me. And it was like I was looking at life through kind of there was like an invisible barrier there that, like, they couldn't get through to me. And I think in a way that was true, because people didn't understand. If people don't take the time to go into your depth. And now I'm hearing the song Rainbow by Sia. I know you're a special one. Some see crazy where I see love. You fall so low but shoot so high. Big dreamers shoot for open sky. So much life in those open eyes. So much depth, you look for the light. That song is absolutely beautiful, and I'm getting that from this card for you, pile number 2. I feel like you've been misunderstood a lot. People just weren't capable. And there's that phrase that you can only meet somebody as deeply as they have met themselves. So you are an old soul. You're probably a starseed, actually. I'm very sure you're a starseed, actually. And if that doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. It's just another way of looking at things. Technically, my opinion is technically everybody's a starseed because we're all from the star system. And I'm getting huge Aquarian energy for you, huge, unique. We're still on the Oracle cards, pile number 2, the Penguin Medicine. Okay, Penguin Medicine. That again, black and white. But then the dash of the Emperor Penguins have the dash of color. They're only found in the Southern Hemisphere. They're birds, but they use their wings to swim. And they can drink salt water. So I feel like you can do things that other people can't. What I was trying to say about this card, before I forget, because I never finished my thought, is I think that the age of Aquarius, I'm getting vapors. She's drawing the vapors into her pot. So again, that's giving me the hard shell and the alchemy inside of it. So that's you, and I think that you're very good at drawing down spiritual knowledge and being able to plant it and express it and vibrate it out. Your beingness just vibrates. You're like a walking angel. You're very connected to the angelic realms. You're very connected to the galactic realms. You're highly, highly connected to nature as well, to Mother Gaia. I feel like you're probably very inventive. You're probably very creative. I'm getting the phrase pristine mess for you, pile number 2. And I'm getting, and this is back to the masculine energy. So the feminine energy is that being energy. The masculine energy is air energy. Divine mess, I'm getting calibration, precision. But nature is precise. And you've got the spiral. The spiral shows up in nature all the time. Feminine energy is about connection. And masculine energy is about, being able to be sovereign in who you are. But we need both. It's not men versus women. It's having masculine and feminine mastery of energies alchemized and integrated within ourselves. I knew someone who used to say to me, life is full of givers and takers. And it is. But they're unhealthy people. People who give and people who take. Only giving and only taking. And there's a difference between receiving and taking. Taking is taking something that somebody's not giving you, in my opinion. Receiving is something that's been offered to you that is yours to take. Taking without, like, this all's fair in love and war. It's not that two-dimensional. It's just not. When you fold in morals, free will, and love, basically. Anyway, back to I was tangenting again. I'm also getting very strong harmonics and music for you, which makes sense with the dancing here. And he himself, So he himself, I'm getting, you might be drawn to kind of Essenes or Solomon or Jesus as aspirational figures, or the like who they were incarnate. Solomon, his story is interesting because he was someone who could have anything, and because God offered him the chance to have everything or anything he wanted, and what he asked for was he asked for the wisdom to enact God's will with his resources. And that surprised God. And because he did that, God gave him everything. So that might be something that might be of interest, or you might find some messages in there. And penguin spirit as well, penguin medicine, it is the male penguins who sit on the eggs. And we already said that they can drink salt water, and most mammals cannot. It's very dangerous. So there's a uniqueness about you, a magical quality about you. And he himself, he energizes the other fairies. He has the breath that marks the atom of existence, basically. That he's the dance. He's kind of like feminine and masculine energy embodied. I'm getting Eros, Kundalini for him very, very, very strongly as well. And Jesus as well. We're back to Mary Magdalene. They were like, so when the Catholic Church came out and was like, oh yeah, by the way, she was Jesus's first kind of disciple. Jesus, Solomon, and those ancient pre-Christian religions, they really honored feminine divinity. Ancient Irish culture, we had Brehon law. The woman, she had the power to divorce if the man couldn't give her children. And then you've got, again, black and white with the penguin. So I'm getting, you might be very smart in your dress, because they're smart looking birds. I'm getting dapper as a, you might be somebody who likes, who likes tailored clothes, but it might be tailored comfort. Like, I'm sure that you like to feel good in your clothes, but also look sharp. So there's a sharpness, a precision, a clarity. But I also feel that you're highly intuitive and highly psychic as well. And I feel like you're probably very musical. And again, to be good at music, it takes both feminine and masculine energies. You need discipline and practice and action. You have to practice. You have to practice. You have to practice. In order to be healthy in your body, you have to go to the gym. And I'm hearing I'm hearing not go to the gym, but you have to get off, you have to move your body. You can't just sit there and like you've seen a lot of heavy set yogis who just, meditation's not going to make you, is not going to make you look after your body, the physicality of your body. It will tend to the spirituality and the mind and the emotional to a degree, but I'm seeing DNA for you as well. So they were talking about the DNA, and DNA is unique to each person. DNA also has immense storage capacity. They're talking about, those farms that they have for data farms, like they use immense amounts of energy to store data, but they're saying the amount of data that can be stored in DNA, they're only starting to get into bioscience now. Mainstream, I mean, the military has been doing it for a really long time, but and all this kind of stuff like remote viewing and all those esoteric things that they were just like, woo, things that society was told was woo woo. And the whole alien thing as well, like we were all told that was woo woo as well, like the galactic. But now, like, look at what's been released in the military, and think about where, those ancient druidic sites, sacred sites and all that kind of stuff as well, that those are really, some of them, we just, like, how were the pyramids built, for example, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of unanswered questions. And then, of course, your Aquarius, the planet of Aquarius is Uranus. And that is, it's about the group, it's about the collective. So I feel like you're really, really serving the collective, but also from a place where you know how to do it, because you walk the walk and you talk the talk, but you also walk the walk. You're not, telling anybody to do anything. You're just like, you're an evocateur. So you might, you're not provoking people, you're evoking people. Your beingness, though your beingness will be an inspiration and an aspiration to those who are on the path and who are doing the work. And what I mean by that is somebody who wants to grow and wants to be in line with the divine plan, for want of a better word, who is moving towards the light. The person who used to talk about givers and takers also was like, well, people don't change. Well, people can change. I mean, that's the whole thing. Why would you... Bob Proctor used to say that some people live for 80 years and some people live the same life 80 times twice. Or 80 times, live the same year 80 times. And I used to love that as well. So it's you know, I would hate not to be evolving and growing. Like, I do not believe the same things that I did 10 years ago. And I'm sure that I hope that I am more wise 10 years from now. And that has, you know, I've always been a sponge for education. And I'm not just talking about, you know, school. I mean, like, I'm always curious. I want to know not even how, but I do want to know why. And I kind of trust that my body knows how, and I hear what I need to hear. And I really feel like the body is a temple. And back to the gym example, people who don't take care of their bodies, people who don't take care of their emotions, they're kind of leaving it up to other people to take care of to do the emotional work in the relationship. But if you don't take care of your body either, you're kind of going to be, we're all going to age out at some time, and we're going to need support. So we're back to that, you know, kind of the individual and the collective. But like, we are gifted this incredible body, like this incredible technology that we don't even begin to understand. But the body is a temple. We have the choice to take care of it. And people who don't take care of it, like, that's their choice. You know, and that, you know, we have free will. So I'm getting really strong shamanic energy, and he's a dancer. Spiral, also the dragon's path is a spiral, and spiral shows up in nature all the time. It's repeated in nature all the time. And in addition to that, like, stagnancy leads to rot, leads to apathy, and I forget what that word is. You know that phrase, use it or lose it. So we're either, like, there is no static. We're either in a state of growth or a state of decay. And that's why cycles and transformation are really important. The snake sheds its skin and then becomes anew. And I think it's lizards can, like, if they lose their tail, they can grow their tail back. So you have a lot of mastery, pile number 2, in just bridging. You're like bridging the heaven and the earth, and in growing and evolving, and doing it by example, and just doing it from a place of, like, pleasure and fun. There's a lot of joy in your energy, and I'm not talking about Joy the brand. I'm talking about genuine joy, not some kind of bumper sticker, superficial kind of nod to joy, but really you live it. You walk the talk and you walk the walk and you talk the talk. I'm also thinking about, like, we were talking about precision, and I used to mistake. I went out with this guy before, and I thought he was relaxed and laid back, but actually it turned out that he was actually really, really, really passive aggressive, and he was very charming and very superficial. But he had a lot of depth that he just refused to go there. And again, that's a choice. he also was Scorpio. And I'm Taurus. So Scorpio and Taurus are on opposite ends. So we had things to teach each other, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Again, you can't do somebody's push-ups for them. You can't do their physical work or their emotional work for them. So you can only meet them as deep as they would meet you. So obviously, you know, that didn't last. And it lasted quite a long time, and it took me a lot of healing to get to after that, because I really gave up a lot of my power in that relationship, and I didn't realize and recognize I was doing that. I was doing kind of the agreeable thing and doing a lot of waiting as well, because I was not trying to tell them how to live their life, but at the same time I was looking for partnership. And you know, I was no saint either. I had to learn. This phrase is coming to me. I think it was another tarot reader who said it. It was a very codependent relationship we were both in, and I had my own things to work on, and they had their own things to work on. And this phrase that's popping up for me now is, it doesn't matter which side of a codependent relationship you're in, you're still in one. And I'm just not doing that again. There's nothing more unattractive to me in a mom than a mama's boy. Treat your mother with respect, of course, but if you have to acquiesce mama and you can't stand up to mama, and you're looking for me to be the next mama in your life, no thank you. Whether you're a partner, a friend, a boss, any kind of relationship, even an acquaintance, you're going to stay in your acquaintance, or you're going to stay stranger at this point. I'm too old for that crap. I'm nobody's mama. We're all adults here. We can all, you know, dress ourselves, feed ourselves. And I mean feed ourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally, and we need to be able to stand on our own. We should be able to be in partnership with another person. And if you can't do that, you're not the person for me, and I have accepted that. But it was a lesson that I really had to learn. And where I was going with that was like flow and intuition. It's not the same as flying by the seat of your pants. To be in receiving mode, you have to, like, for example, nature. If you plant carrots, you're not going to get orchids. It's precisional. And things are not going to flower in the winter unless they're winter flowering plants. So you have to deal in truth as well. So I'm thinking of ice skaters and you know, when they dance together. Well, first of all, when they're solo and they're flying around at high speed on ice, and they're doing these like acrobatics, and then they're doing these jumps. But imagine when they come together and they dance as a duo, like, you know, they're wearing these weapons on their feet. So that does not happen by sitting there and having a mood board or a vision board and meditating. You have to get off your butt. You have to be healthy. You have to review your progress. You have to have a coach. You have to be in sync with each other, and you have to do your own work. Especially when you have some guy throwing some girl up in the air and then she's going to come down. Like, bad things happen when you don't do your own work, in my opinion. So I'm going to pull finally some tarot cards for you. Pile number 2. I've been talking for so long. I'm so sorry. But your energy is just, I mean, I could talk to you forever and I haven't even met you yet. So let's pull some tarot cards for you. First up is happiness. This is the 6 of Cups. I love this. This is the New Elements. This is the New Elements tarot. It's sun energy. It is like, look at all the little kids. I feel like you are really in touch with your inner child, and this these two cards are kind of mirroring that for me. And just dance and music itself. In order to be a good musician, in my opinion, or a good dancer, you not only need the technical, but you also need to have the heart. You need to enjoy it. It needs to be something that speaks to you. So we've got despair, which is the 5 of Cups, and that can signify grief. So I feel like that, you might have had a lot of grief to overcome from your childhood. Maybe you lost people. Maybe you were in a situation where you weren't emotionally, or potentially, maybe you came from poverty, or maybe you came from emotional poverty, or maybe there were people who were, again, we talked about maybe feeding off of you. You had to, and this is Emperor. So this is Aries, and Aries is childhood as well. And I'm getting the loaves and the fishes from this as well. So maybe and the riverbed is dry. Maybe you had to go into the forest metaphorically, or into your own cocoon and replenish. Maybe you had to learn how to be the emperor in your own life, how to be your own, to be your own protector, to be your own father, to be your own parent, to be your own general in your own energy, to be able to what am I trying to say, to be able to, navigate's not the word that I'm looking for. It might come to me. We've got the devil here too. So maybe you actually even were in some levels of codependency, and you could have been addicted to, maybe you didn't have a lot of resources. And maybe you had to learn how to protect, because they say that everything that you have is within. Maybe you had to learn how to tap into that and move away from people who would leech that from you, because maybe they bled you dry. Or in order to be able to protect your Empress energy, which is that creative energy, and she's shown as in a lot of decks as being pregnant. And that's like pregnant pause, pregnant with ideas, pregnant, with children. Maybe you just had a lot of people. You had to have that hard shell. You develop that hard shell to be able to protect that. But that can often lead to addiction as well. And also things like nervous system disorders, like borderline personality disorder and complex PTSD. And that just means complex PTSD is not is similar to PTSD, but it just means that it's something that happens. Sometimes people call it childhood PTSD. What it means is exposure over a long period of time to trauma. And trauma at its essence just really means being put in situations that you're not equipped to deal with. So, being around an alcoholic parent, being around somebody who is emotionally distant or who is very volatile emotionally, especially as a child, because you don't have the capacity to understand that. So what you end up doing is kind of being, you might develop people pleasing tendencies. And then you end up, people can use that against you, and then you might be vilified for showing your anger, and then you can deal with a lot of emotional dysregulation. There's a lot of information on that nowadays, and if you do have something like that, I worked with a trauma specialist for a good while, and I definitely believe that helped me, and I still I still do therapy. And we don't do so much, we do some talk therapy, but a lot of it is working on the nervous system and being able to, because the way I would dissociate, personally, I noticed, was through distraction. It's not that I wouldn't be, and a friend of mine said to me years ago, she was like, when somebody says something that you don't like in a conversation, you just leave the conversation. I didn't even know I was doing that, and that's my body protecting me from somebody who's attacking me, literally attacking me. But what it does is it it numbs you out and it takes you out of your body, so you're not alert. Because what can happen is you can be hyper vigilant, and you can't be in that state indefinitely, and that's where things like addiction can come in, because just the relief from that, alcohol works, smoking things work, some of those medications that you get work, but they're not. I used to say that you can't medicate a thought. You have to alchemize whatever the trauma is in order to be able to kind of integrate it and be healthy again. We've got destruction. That's the Ten of Swords. These are vultures. That's giving me Kali, new beginnings again. And the vultures, like, they're very important in the ecosystem. They eat the dead. They eat the decay. And it's also giving me Popeye. We've got judgment. So I think you had a lot of karmas to yourself. And what I mean by that is that you probably had karmas in relationship, because I'm getting very strongly for this pile that you suffered from being in a lot of codependent kind of dynamics, and that you had to, I think it's Dr. John Deloney says, the things that kept you safe, and we've got conflict as well. I think people put a lot of conflict on you, or you were around a lot of conflict. I've also just pulled the grief card, which is the Three of Swords. So I feel like, pile number 2. I feel like this pile has been through it. Has really been through it. I mean, look, you've got, painful endings, grief, betrayal, conflict, karma, addiction. So I don't know, you can be addicted to anything. You can be addicted to being treated poorly because maybe you'd never experienced being treated well. And I'm also being drawn back to this, the heart in the hands. And I think that you had to really learn, and of course in this pendant it's encircled and there's a crown on top. You really had to learn how to master your own emotional regulation and to be able to bring that forth in the world. I'm again seeing crystals for you. I think that I'm getting very strong Atlantis for you. So for that, I'm going to pull one of these sacred geometry cards. I just got this oracle deck recently and I absolutely love it. I think the crystals would be really important for you, really powerful. I think that you have that kind of crystalline impact on other people, but crystals are very, they're hard. But then selenite dissolves in water. So, and of course, these are all sitting on selenite here. So I feel like that maybe and selenite clears things as well. So I think that you cleared for a lot of people, but like you could have gotten overwhelmed by other people's emotions. And it could have dulled if you got into any sort of addictions with relationships with people or substances, or, you can have an addiction to, shopping, that kind of thing. Change. Oh, how beautiful. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and birth the new. How beautiful. And this is giving me portal energy as well. I feel like you're probably a starseed, pile number 2. You have really had to, I think you came here to be an agent of, not only an agent of change for yourself, but for other people. And you show people how to embrace change and how to alchemize it and how to move on from the, you've had some painful endings, And you've had to just, Judgment is reminding me it's a karma card. So you may not have seen, you may have had to walk away from things and not seen the beauty that you left. And I'm sure you've been vilified quite a bit for it. Oh my goodness. Cosmic self. You are a cosmic being. Stay confident in your truth. And I feel like that you are cosmic in yourself. I think that is what kept you going. I think you've been through things that other people will be like, how on earth are they still standing after all of that? Oh my goodness! Fire of transformation, radical purification, violet flame, surrendering, resurrection. I mean, you can't write this stuff, pile number 2. Your energy is absolutely beautiful. Your energy is powerful. You are a walking, talking, divine. We're all walking, talking divine beings, but you are channeling so much divine energy that you probably, again, back to not being seen. And these cards actually, they're very close. This is like, to me, your higher self and your earthly self. And you were that way. You could be an indigo child as well as a starseed. And you've got the phoenix here, the fire of transformation. You're highly spiritual. You are just you were just a master of rebirth. You're a master. You've probably started over a few times in your lifetime. I wouldn't be surprised. And it's reminding me of Brené Brown. I saw her once being interviewed, and she said that she met somebody, an investor. She met a venture capitalist and an angel investor on a plane once, and the investor said that he will never ever he would never invest in somebody who hadn't lost $1 million. And she was like, how can you afford to invest in somebody who's lost $1 million? And his answer was, if someone cannot recover from losing $1 million, I am not going to invest in them. So I feel like you are not one in a million, you are one in a lifetime. And I think you've got this very unique regenerative power. But people, we all have the ability to tap into that. I feel like you're very old soul. You've lived very, very many lives. And you know that by the end, I'm getting Shiva energy as well. So Shiva's the adept on the mountain when he's in meditation. So I think you're really good at going within and bringing that fire of transformation to rebuild and to restart and to have that rebirth. I have been talking for forever, pile number 2. So I am going to say thank you. So grateful to you for incarnating at this time. There is some craziness at play in the world right now. I'm sure that you're highly sensitive and highly empathetic. So I'm sure that you're feeling it, but you are so masterful and delightful. I'm getting like this clarity, and also this, you've got that Swami G purity, that childlike, not childish, childlike innocence, purity in your energy that's really clarifying. I'm seeing a tuning fork as well, just that beautiful clarity. Your frequency, your vibration is just, it is a crystal in onto itself. So thank you for incarnating once again. If you like my content, I would love to have you back. If you're a newbie, I'm so glad that you stopped by. If you're not a newbie, thank you for coming back. And if you'd love to like, comment, share, subscribe, I would be absolutely thrilled. And I hope to hang out with you again sometime in the future. Pile number 2. I'm sorry. Pile number 3. We're finally getting to pile number 3. My goodness. So pile number 3, you had this gorgeous armband bracelet that I got in Kenya on my travels. So pile number 3. Oh, you've got Uttara Bhadrapada. I don't know if I said that right. Uttara Bhadrapada. I think I did. You've got bear medicine. You have musical joy. I'm getting synchronicities of colors again. The fledgling. Oh. From the For Love of Dragons deck. Ooh. Oh, we're going to need to cover her up a little bit. You have got the Dark Lady, card number 20. And she has got a crescent moon on her head. And, oh, you've got this gorgeous, this is the Soul card. This is from Soul, the deck is called Soul Cards, and they're purely visual. So beautiful. So beautiful. So pile number 3. What have we got for you? What is in your aura? What's happening for you? So I'm going to switch these actually because I want to see more of this and I want to pop this in under here. Alrighty, pile number 3. So Uttara Bhadrapada. Well, it is wholly and totally in Pisces. And its deity is Ahir Bhujana. I don't know if Bhujana. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And this signifies the serpent of the deep ocean. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm really strongly seeing the blues and the lilacs are popping out, but also I'm getting earthy here as well for you, and of course, bear spirit. The funeral, the back legs of the funeral cot are a symbol for this Uttara Bhadrapada. And it's giving, so this to me looks like an angel, and this to me looks like somebody sitting playing, you've got the music repeated here, playing a cosmic instrument. So I'm getting, kind of being in a cave, a metaphorical cave, playing, like being in hermit energy, I guess, playing this cosmic musical sound. And they say that Om was the first sound of the universe. And we've got some blue through here. I'm getting really earthy, and I think that's why I'm getting cave. I don't know why. And then we've got the blues here, which for me is throat chakra and truth. And we've got that repeated here. We've got the blues and the lilacs here as well. And you can see the music is crossing her throat. Here, she is crescent moon, which is intuition, water, psychic abilities. I'm getting really strong Hathor from this, and it looks like she's got potentially a serpent on the top of her head, this dark lady. So Uttara Bhadrapada, the power to bring cosmic rain. Gorgeous. And it's got that I'm getting Shiva, warrior monk kind of energy from you, pile number 3. Quiet fight. I'm hearing quiet fight and a gentle strength. I'm getting beginner's mind and just a really pure energy from you. I'm getting, I guess, with the snake as well, the Kundalini. So you've had your Kundalini awakened. Maybe you're in the process of awakening it. But it's very, very, there's a really quiet power about this energy. Like it's very, very strong, but it's quiet. It's not loud. And that is the beingness. That being energy is feminine energy. But I'm also getting a very strong, to get to that stage and to be able to stay in your feminine energy, you need to have that that presence of body, mind, and spirit. You need to have that discipline to be able to sit still. I'm seeing that Rumi quote that's to understand the dance, we must understand the stillness. To understand the stillness, we must understand the dance. And of course, the crown chakra here is really on fire for me. And then she's got the moon out of her crown chakra. And the moon, of course, is intuition and depth and emotion. The latter, happy feet. And of course, the renunciate is significant of the cave of Shiva sitting on the mountain. That's when he's in his he's not in his family state, not when he's the cohort of Parvati. At that time, he's the spiritual adept when he's in deep meditation. And Shiva sits in the ash, and he is the signifier of, so in the Indian pantheon, you've got Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and Brahma signifies the kind of the start of life, the Om, the creation, the creative force, and then Vishnu is the dance of life, the balance, and then Shiva is kind of like how we I guess end cycles, for want of a better word. The depths of the ocean. I'm also getting that we got the warrior star here too. So it's, you know, those the monks who are trained as warriors, and it's giving me that quote: courage does not always roar. It's sometimes the quiet voice that says, I will try again tomorrow. There's a stillness. I keep getting this like quiet, gentle power, like a mountain, like literally a mountain, but also very, excuse me, you've got the like the ocean. And I'm thinking about, you know, in the ocean, I don't know if you've ever seen The Deep, it's David Attenborough's series, and it's beautiful. It's cinematographically just gorgeous. But it's also, I think it's, you know, it's a long series. Like each episode is quite long, but also he goes down, and there's so much of the ocean that's unexplored. We haven't really even got the technology to go so as deep as we need to at this point in the ocean. And the further down in the ocean, the further down in the depths that you go, there's that pressure. And even to come back up out of it, you know, that has to be done in a very gentle, slow, methodical, precisional way, because if you come up too quickly, you get the bends, and it's dangerous. And you know, it's dangerous to be, you know, even scuba divers, they go down in pairs. It's dangerous to go down just by yourself. And then I've been seeing a lot of whales come up on my feed recently, and there's some whales who just kind of will open their mouths and then close them. And there was something on the internet recently where some guy was in, I think he was windsurfing or something, or surfing, and he was paddling, and his dad caught it on camera, where he was swallowed by a whale, and the whale spat him out. So the ocean, it can look serene on the surface, but there's a whole world unexplored underneath. And I think that you've really gone into the depths of not only yourself, I'm also getting inner earth for you. And that to me signifies, you know, Shambhala. And then also when I see, you know, the archetypes archetypes deck. Whenever I see that card, the one that's the mountain, there's a mountain, and then there's the opening of a cave. That always speaks to me of a portal into inner earth for some reason. And I believe also I feel like that there are ways to create portals through Mother Gaia. And I'm also seeing Billy Carson as well. There was one talk that he was giving, and he had said that, you know, he was talking about he's gone to a lot of sacred sites, and he was talking about ritual, and ritual is very strong with the Dark Lady. She is a mastery of ritual. She understands ritual, and that's giving me very strong bhakti as well. Bhakti is that devotional energy, and they say that bhakti is the highest form of yoga, again back to the Indian pantheon. And he was saying that you can't just rock up and head straight down into, you know, these sacred sites. The path, how you get there, is also important. And it's also, it unlocks, I'm seeing a video game unlocking levels. Energetically, there's an unlocking as you follow. I'm seeing Indiana Jones as well, going through some of the things that he's going through. And also, we just talked about it as going down into the depths. You can't just, torpedo down, 100,000 feet or something like that. There's also in the deep, they discovered, we always thought that you had to have life needed oxygen to survive, but there's life down there that's supported by, there's an ecosystem down there that he comes across, and like creatures that we've never seen that look like off-world creatures. But there's life down there that's supported by sulfur. It's fascinating and beautiful. So there's just that there's a beautiful purity, and I'm getting Swami energy from you, to be quite honest, sage energy, monk energy. And I'm not saying that you don't have a family or that you don't have a relationship. It's just that energy that you have is just that serenity, and that it reminds me of that serenity from As a Man Thinketh. The last lesson of culture is serenity, and in it, what does he? Yeah, it's beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. The Dark Lady, we talked about her. So she's about ritual, and she's about knowing that serenity can be found in darkness. Like, I remember when I did my yoga teacher training, it was at an ashram, and they asked us, they were like, who came here, who found yoga through who found yoga through, I can't remember, she didn't say joy, I'm trying to paraphrase. It was our teacher who was teaching us mantra. And mantra, again, is the voice. Mantra is vibration. And we were taught that mantra was a sacred symbol encased in a sound. And the words that you say, how you calibrate your speech matters. Ooh, I don't mind and you don't matter. I'm hearing that phrase. So mind over matter. The subtle the gross comes from the subtle. And what that means is things start in an energetic form as a thought. Then you speak them into existence. You write them down, and then you build them. So it's that in order to manifest things, sometimes I feel like people might, even if you're successful, especially if you've worldly success, people might think it comes easy for you, that it just happened. But you're an old soul. You've been through lifetimes of mastery, and you have surrendered. You have surrendered the greeds and the lust and the going after things from a point of view of I want it for the immediate gratification that I want to say. I was listening to just some clip on the Ramsey show, and this guy had called in and wanted to know whether he could whether they recommended that it was okay. I mean, this dude was young, and he had like over 100 grand in savings, and he was in his mid 20s, and he was like, I want to buy a $5,000 watch. What do you think? And they kind of said to him, like, you know, if you have the money to do it, go ahead and do it. But, you know, what is it going to do for you emotionally? Like, if it's going to be, you know, kind of just the dopamine hit in the moment, like, that's something that you need to decide, but it's something that you should look at. And I think that you have mastered that. You're not all that glitters is not gold. You don't do it for the immediate gratification. You do it for the love, I want to say. And music is a labor of love. I mean, you don't pick up a guitar and start playing. You have to learn the chords. You have to learn the dexterity of, you know, which, you know, you have to build that into your fingers, into your muscles. You have to learn about timing. And I'm hearing divine timing. You can't rush nature. You can't rush manifestation. There is, you know, you make choices, but, you know, and it's that, I'm seeing that story again of the bamboo, where it's that phase of bamboo. I think it's a Chinese story, where he plants the bamboo and he nurtures it underground for 5 years, and his neighbors are like, dude, over there is like for the birds, because he keeps watering this invisible bamboo. But when the bamboo finally breaks ground in the 5th year, or after 5 years, I can't remember, in the first 6 weeks it grows 90 feet. So I feel like you just understand vibration, frequency, timing, and harmonics. You're in harmony. You're able to harmonize, as above, so below, as within, so without. And you just exude that gentle, quiet strength. And you understand that the fledgling, for example, you understand that, you know, if you plant a garden, not every seed's going to grow, and you're okay with that. You're willing to, you know, to fail. And this dragon oracle is about, we've got the card of 4, which is reminding me of the emperor, but it's also reminding me 4 is a number of stability. And it's also, like, if you think about the 4 of Wands, it's a card of celebration. The 4 of Pentacles, it is a card of stability, but he's also holding the pentacle in the Rider Waite against his heart. So his heart is blocked off. So it's not just a one and done. It's a whole symphony of, so the orchestra as well. I'm being brought to the orchestra. You have to tune in. You have tune in. You have to tune your instrument in. So there's the individual, and then there's the collective. And I feel that you're really, really good at harmony, symphony, and frequency. Like, you're in your own frequency, and your own frequency is a symphony. You have created your own concerto in your own auric field, and not only your own concerto, your own library of concertos, and you know which energy to tap in and out of. And I also feel that you're very, very, very good at recognizing what, because you've such a range, you can meet people where they are. And I would say that you might find that people mightn't be able to meet you where you are, which may be why you spend a lot of time in hermit energy by yourself, alone. Because meeting people where they are, it's energy out, and you need to replenish. And you know, I'd say you're quite introverted as well. You probably have to go within to palate cleanse, to reset, to withdraw, to kind of tap back into your higher self, your guides, which are very strongly around you, to your own rhythm, to Mother Gaia. I'm really feeling very strong inner earth and galactic for you as well, and very in tune with nature as well, pile number 3. you have a joy about you too. Like the sage has, you know, the sage, the wise wisdom has the understanding of that childlike purity, and also the beginner's mind, and also the the wisdom, the living gnosis, the living knowledge of experience as well. Not just not just reading it in a book and thinking that you know it. I had a teacher who used to say, knowing is the difference between knowing something and knowing about something. And that's the difference between reading about somebody else's experience and living it yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to go through everything yourself. You can learn lessons and you can apply them to other areas, but you need to know what to apply when, and that just comes through life, through living. The Dark Lady has a real affinity for understanding these natural cycles in life. So I'm getting Bardo asking for permission as well. So you never, I'm getting projector energy from you if you know about human design. The human design, you never infringe on somebody else's will. I'm feeling pile number 3. What you offer is an offering. If people want to take it, great. If they don't, you're fine with that. You're not offended by people's not being able to meet you where you are. You're not offended by, you're not judging them for being less mature on a soul level than you, or having not done the work, or having not the awareness that you have. And that's a wisdom that you have. You're not offended by it, but you do recognize that you're in a human body, and that you do have to eat, sleep, and you do need to be around energy that is supportive, and you do need to nourish yourself, and you're very aware of that. And you're not going to cast your pearls before swine. You're not going to chase after somebody to get them to understand you, because you understand that they'll get there, and you understand that every step along the journey is a legitimate way. And if somebody, Darwin awarded themselves out of your life by mistreating you, that was their choice, and that was their path, and that was their learning. And you're very, very good at not hanging on to, again, we've got this, the endings and the rebirth. You're very good at like letting that go. And with the fledgling, the fledgling, it talks about, falling spectacularly and failing gorgeously. You know that everything here on earth is, we have the choice with how we engage in it. The lessons are not always easy to go through, and the people that we're around are not always easy to be around. But we do have a choice in how we respond, and you learn to be to be able to do that. I'm hearing Viktor Frankl. He's talking about the last authentic freedom, and the last authentic freedom was, he was in a concentration camp. And he watched his whole they took his wedding ring from him. He watched them take away his family, and he wrote his story, and they found it and they burnt it, but they could never take how he was going to show up for that. They could never take his faith. They could never break his spirit. And he's just one of those people like Nelson Mandela, who went into prison and was 27 years in prison, and he didn't let them break his spirit. He started writing letters, and then he said that the man who went into prison was not the man who came out of prison, and then he ended up being president of the country that imprisoned him for 27 years. So that is a leadership quality, that, and a wisdom, how you use your time. We all get the same 24 hours in a day, and if you're going to be, the Karen of your own life, that's on you. That's your choice, But you understand that you're not going to be that. And I'm seeing Picasso as well. Picasso was learning ballet at 80, and I'm seeing that I saw it in I think it was in the New Yorker back in the day. It was, do you know the way to Carnegie Hall? And it was this person with, I think it was this person with a violin, and the respondent just says, practice. So I thought that was interesting. So it takes practice, skill, dexterity, and time to be able to, to really truly grow the things, to manifest the things that are worth manifesting. And sometimes that comes from past lives. And that's just, there are younger souls and there are older souls. And, learning about where our strengths are is something that we can all do. I want to get into the bear spirit a little bit as well, because in the Indian pantheon, so if you think about the bear hibernates. So that's again back to that kind of cave energy. And the bear in the Indian, in India it signifies actually, it signifies the hibernation of the bear is signifying going into the pineal gland. So that hibernation. So that's what bear medicine is about. It's the power of introspection. So you have that. I mean, that really speaks to the adept, and that really speaks to the hermit energy that we've been talking about. And if you take a cross section of the skull from the top, the pineal gland will be in the center. But in India they look at the south as being the forehead, the north being the back of the skull, the west being the intuition, right brain, and the left being the logical brain, or the east being the logical brain. And going into hibernation, the bear going into his cave for the winter is the bear connecting with his pineal gland. And that's where you have the connection with spirit, with your own higher self. So getting very and it's the dream lodge as well in the dream state. So I think that you could get the bear is also bear medicine is also feminine and receptive. So I feel like you get a lot of downloads from your guides, and in the sleep state you might have a lot of you might get a lot of messages through your dreams. So it might be something worth, keeping a diary, a dream journal, or a dream diary, and noticing some patterns that pop up for you. And that is also lucid dreaming and yoga nidra, which is called dynamic sleep. They're different, but they're similar in I guess. They look similar from the outside, but on the inside they're kind of different. But lucid dreaming and yoga nidra are skills, and they're something that can be really you think of dream walking in I guess North American shamanism as well. So you might get a lot of messages. You might be able to really connect with your higher self and your guides through your dreams as well. And you might start to notice the patterns by paying attention to your dreams. I'm going to pull some tarot cards for you, pile number 3, because we haven't pulled any for you. But I'm just getting this you might be guides to other people, to be honest. With the whole starting Picasso taking up ballet when he was 80, like, we're always a beginner at something. And you have an innate understanding of that. And my favorite child's book is Giraffes Can't Dance. And it's just so beautiful. And it just takes, like, dance is a good example, because when you start to dance, you can feel, and people who say, oh, I can't dance, anybody can learn to dance. Anybody can learn to dance. But it takes practice. And it takes, kind of that willing to be, willing to fail, willing to look stupid, willing to do the wrong steps. And I had this dance teacher once that was like, I would ask him, what is the, what muscles am I using? Tell me, what does it, like, and I asked that of my, my yoga teacher as well, or my exercise teacher as well. Well, when I'm doing that movement, what muscle am I kind of engaging? What am I doing? So I have to kind of map it in my mind. So visualization for me is really key in how I do, connecting the movement to, like, I can't tell from the outside of what you're doing how to do it. I need to come from the inside out. And wow, look at your cards, pile number 3. Oh my goodness. I love this for you. I absolutely love this for you. But that, in that book, the giraffe, it's all awkward and gangly at first. But, that's normal. When we start something new, there is an awkwardness. But to get to the skill and the dexterity and the joy in doing it, because it's joyful when you can do something well. It feels good. And that book just really really speaks to that for me. You have got the 9 of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, and it's also, it's wish fulfillment, whatever that is for you. It's Cups energy, so it's emotional fulfillment, it's happiness. You've got the Queen of Pentacles. She's got her pentacle on her lap. She's on her throne. She is surrounded by, abundance. She is not yet with her. She's in this picture alone. And look at all the yellow. The yellow is solar plexus. Beautiful. And you have the 10 of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles, she's sovereign in her own right. She doesn't need anybody else. She can take care of herself. She's never going to be a trophy wife. She is going to be like, the Queen of Sheba. She was Solomon's counterpart. Mary Magdalene. She gives me Queen of Pentacles energy. She was highly connected to spirit. She was Jesus's first disciple, the primary disciple. She's got a beautiful veil of our cloak coming from her crown of green, which is heart energy. So she moves like she's surrounded by love. She surrounds herself in love, and of that she builds in the earth. Getting very Garden of Eden vibes from this. Also, you've got Emperor energy. Emperor is Aries, and the Emperor is also the counterpart to the Empress. And Emperor is the embodiment of all the kings. So you've got the 4 elements. So you're such an integrated energy, and it probably feels great to be around you. You're quite likely very, very successful. You're probably able to build really strongly in the world if you so choose, or if you choose to sit in a cave. I don't know what your story is, but you have the ability to do both. We have the 4 of Swords, which is a healing energy. You know that healing is not the same as what we talked about. It's a process. It's not the same as just reading something in a book and being like, oh yeah, I got that. Knowing about something is not the same as living it. And I think you're very healing for other people. Your energy, just being in your aura. You know how Jesus said, would you be healed? He didn't say, oh, here, let me heal you. He said, would you be healed? So he knows that we have to participate in our own healing. If we refuse, which we have the right to do, we've got free will, then that's on us. And that very much is, it's an inside job. We're talking about hermit energy again. We're talking about rest. It's not all go, 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 go. Nature, you know, the farmer knows to have fallow fields. The thing with things like PTSD and CPTSD and the nervous system, you can't be in survival mode indefinitely. If it's constantly energy out, if you're overgiving, you're depleting. If all you're doing is taking, you can get stagnant and overindulgent and out of balance. Red is a color of power. You've got a lot of power here. They're both wearing red. They've both got crowns on their heads. You've got red on the head here. So you've got power, and you've got the solar plexus, which is moving forward. It's the action, it's the sun. So the essence of who you are, your philosophy, everything about you is in harmony with the divine. You've got the strength card here to finish out. My gosh. I mean, the lion and the lamb, and it's feminine energy. It's reminding me of Durga again. Durga, she was created of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva to slay the demon, to slay the attachments. So you've learned about, you know, not to build your kingdom only here on earth, because we were talking about the Four of Pentacles. Now we've got the Four of Swords. But think about the four elements. That is, and you've got the Emperor. The Emperor is the embodiment of the four elements. The embodiment of the four kings. The cups energy, the wands, the swords, and the pentacles. So you're a highly integrated soul. I want to pull one of these chakra cards. It's Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle book. I'm sure that your body, your aura exists and feels and interacts with sacred geometry, whether or not you do that consciously or you're aware of it. You've got synergy. My gosh, how beautiful. Card number 41. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that the new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I've just got this sense of home with you. Pile number 3. I want to pull one of these cards for you as well. This is the Journey of Love. Love this deck as well. For some reason, I am being called to pull one of these cards for you, because you've got this quiet, loving mama bear energy about you, but you can get your claws out if you want to. Guardian of the soul family. Oh, yes. I feel like you're a guide, or maybe you could potentially be. I'm sure your higher self is definitely a guide to other people. Pile number 3, and you've got I'm seeing two beings together. So I'm getting your masculine and feminine. But I feel like your higher soul is a spirit guide. Your higher soul, your soul and your higher self is a spirit guide to other people. And it's saying here, I just want to read a little bit out of it. You're being drawn to kindred spirits in this physical world by loving guardians in the spiritual world. If you feel you are leaving relationships behind, do not be afraid. The space that such courageous action creates is sometimes necessary in order to have room for the new to enter your sphere of consciousness. You may also feel that somehow a relationship that seemed to be held back from you is now becoming available to you. There is a great soul love calling you into more intimate connection now. It is sanctioned by the divine. It is karmic destiny to fulfill. There is love that you are to experience in connection with particular souls, predetermined by the divine plan. If you are struggling to feel the soul purpose in your current relationships, take heart, for you are being helped by divine guardians who understand and support the sacred purpose of your relationships. Be open to current relationships healing, whether that means improved communication, an enriched experience, or the realization that you have traveled as far as you can together. And know that new relationships are going to be an important aspect of your spiritual destiny being fulfilled. Trust in the divine timing of your life and open your heart to the guardians who help you with your unconditional love now. The guidance of this oracle for you is that relationship healing is taking place in present relationships unfolding, in attracting the right relationships for your future growth, and in leaving behind relationships of the past with a peaceful heart. Be gentle with your heart. Beloved, all is well. When I open my heart, you cover me with a blanket of love and warm the silence with your caress. Words unspoken say it all as we become more than we are alone. Oh, you might be in the void right now, pile number 1. You might be opening, or pile number 3, I'm so sorry. You might be opening up to new gifts. Your psychic abilities might be really coming online. You might be connecting with your galactic guides. You might be wondering why relationships are falling away from you. Your pineal gland is opening up. Dr. Joe Dispenza might be a good connection for you. Look at this. Abundance. And I'm seeing this. This is reminding me of fullness of source, enough for all to open. And look, this is echoed here. So this is coming out. You're radiating this. You're calling in your soul family. This is reminding me of, I see a flower here. These beautiful pinks. I feel like there's a lot of aloneness in these cards. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe you have been in some sort of a void, or some sort of what might have been perceived as lacking in relationships. You might have been on a path alone for a little bit, but you are about to connect, and this is reminding me of Empress, and you have the Emperor on the board. So, oh goodness, well of dreams, creation, visions, messages, dissolve the veil, bliss dreams. And we talked about psychic dreams. So I think that your whatever is going on for you, you're having a lot of spiritual downloads, pile number 3. And I think you're coming out of that cave. You're coming out of that cave a different human. Sovereignty, right to choose, immunity to hooks. How gorgeous is that? And it looks like a baby dragon. You have gone in, and dragons have they live in caves, and they keep their gold in caves. You are the gold. You're in a new frame. Isn't that just beautiful? You have reframed your own self. You've alchemized your own self. And then you've got this one blue eye here. Your third eye is on fire. You are literally breathing in and out gold dust. You're so powerful, pile number. I can't wait for you to come out of that cave if you're in there. If you're further down the journey and you have created what it is that you've started to create. If everything that you knew has burned to the ground, if Camelot is gone, fear not. Fear not. Because look at all the power that you have. You use your dreams and you use your daydreams. Lizard spirit, use your daydreams. And lizard spirit reminds me of a baby dragon. Use your daydreams to visualize and then take action on them. And there's no stopping you. And this song keeps coming up in readings, for readings that I'm watching, and I'm hearing it for you now. Nothing's going to break my stride. It's by Matthew Wilder. The words are beautiful, and there's no stopping you. Pile number 3. I'm going to leave it there because I have been talking forever. If you would like to, if you're new to my channel, welcome and thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, I am so grateful that you've come back. And if you are not subscribed, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. And if you stop by again, I look forward to hanging out with you. Do you see how my energy once, it was so calm, and now it's like you're ready to go. I am just so energized by you, pile number 3. It's been so delightful hanging out with you. It's just been such a thrill. So thank you so much. Take care. Namaste. Sending you so much love. Bye.